Hello, hello, my first viewer. Make sure to drop a comment so I can see who's all in here. Hello, Lee. Hope you're having a great day. I was just gonna wait a little bit. How does the sound sound? Can you hear me fine? I'm doing well. I am doing really good. I'm gonna share this with you since you're the first one. I was gonna share it a little bit later, but I don't feel like waiting for more people. So this is why I'm in a good mood, and this is politically incorrect, but this is a picture of my son in the fetus, in his fetus in the mother's womb. This is my son as a fetus in my wife's womb. Forgive me for misspeaking. So as you could see, we have my son and that little divot right here. That little divot right here is the boy genitalia. So right here, the doctor says it's a boy. So I'm in a great mood. Thank you so much. Hello, hello. We got 2 people in. Go ahead and drop a comment. Thank you, thank you. Jeruda. Did I say that right? Jeruda. Oh, we got 3 people. Okay, hello, hello. Make sure you guys drop comments so I can see who's all in here. So, like I was saying, in the title, my George Floyd live stream from 2 nights ago got taken down, and the reasons that they gave me was cyberbullying and harassment. So, Lee, you have 2 boys. Yes, I have 2 boys right now, about to be 3. This is gonna be my 3rd boy, and I have 1 daughter. So, I have a full house, all under age 5. So, my life is hectic. I'm actually prepared for my sons to come in. I record in my garage. I'm prepared for them to come in. So I've been thinking about how I'm going to handle them if they come in, because they know not to come in, but if they need me, they know I'm here for them. So having boys is a great thing. All right, we could go ahead. We could go ahead and get started. I don't want to waste your guys' time. For you guys that are here, thank you so much. This is my second live stream. The first one was taken off of YouTube, and like I said, it was cited as cyberbullying and harassment. So, if you were part of the last live stream, you saw that I concluded that I believed that it could be said that George Floyd deserved what he got. Now, I'm I still believe what I said, but I'm sitting here thinking, man, if that's all it takes to get taken off of YouTube. It's not an official strike, but they gave me a warning saying you have harassment and cyberbullying flags against you. If you keep doing this, then you're going to get booted off of YouTube. So when I woke up this morning, I was like, man, how is it that we are in a culture because and if you listen to my last live stream, drop a comment and just and let me know what you thought of my overall tone, the words I was using, and just my overall message about the situation. Because when I received the notification that my video was taken down, I immediately appealed it because I don't think I was harassing anyone and I don't think I was cyberbullying anyone. But I was thinking to myself, man, we are in such a world where there can be violence, there can be sexually explicit songs and videos on YouTube, and those things are good at they are a-okay. The classic one is WAP. You guys have probably heard of that one. All right, by Cardi B. And you think about the lyrics, you think about the vulgarness of it, and yet that song is able to get millions and millions and millions of views, and yet my live stream about George Floyd, albeit it is an unpopular opinion, gets flagged and taken down for harassment and cyberbullying. So um I really believe that was my first encounter with cancel culture, but as I showed you guys before, I am in good spirits because I am expecting, me and my wife are expecting. All right, so as you can see, the leftists cannot change this. They cannot change this. That is a male genitalia. Therefore, the gender is a boy and the sex is male. However you want to say it. However you want to say it, it is what it is. I'm in good spirits. I don't care if I get booted off of YouTube, because at the end of the day, things in my personal life are very well. So, Scooter Bum, hello, hello. So, I wanted to share with you guys a few things. I wanted to talk about the Minneapolis Autonomous Zone, Rand Paul debating Fauci, and I want to go over an article with you guys about whiteness, because there was an article, I don't know if you guys saw it, from The Root, where the author, the writer, who is actually a contributor to the New York Times, wrote a piece in The Root, which is another um magazine or whatever article site you want, however you want to call it, an article site, and the title was "Whiteness is a Pandemic." Full stop. Period. Whiteness is a pandemic. And so I wanted to talk about those things with you guys. So before I talk about that, I want to show you why. This is why Donald Trump was right. This is why Donald Trump was right. And nobody, and all of the crazy race hustlers and people who are on CNN, and everybody who wants to just throw Donald Trump into the racist abyss, they hated it when he told the truth during the presidential debate with Joe Biden. When what's his name? When Chris Wallace gave the garbage question, "Are you willing tonight to condemn all of the left-wing extremist groups and all the racist, white supremacy, blah, blah, blah," like he hadn't already done that. How many times? 10, 20, 30? They want to keep throwing this question at him. And they fail to realize that the man, Donald Trump, literally said the problem today in America, which is not right-wing extremist groups. That is what the liberal mainstream media wants to paint the picture as. Oh, it's the Proud Boys, it's the people on the right. But Donald Trump called it for what it is, and he said it word for word. The problems I see are from the left. I want to play this clip for you guys because I think it captures just the man Donald Trump. He was so politically incorrect, but at the same time he spoke with wisdom at times. And I think this right here, hindsight is 2020. I think this clip right here is evidence that this man saw what it was, and he was telling America what's going to happen. Left-wing extremist groups are the problem, and I'm going to stop it. And what Chris Wallace and a whole bunch of other people did was they decided that they wanted to focus on racism. And now we have an autonomous zone in Minneapolis controlled by who? The left-wing extremists. Let me see. Let me make sure I got this shared. If you guys, if there's an echo, can you please let me know right away? because I'm trying to get better at this live streaming stuff. So please bear with me because I am a rookie.
Are you willing tonight?
All right, I know that's an echo. I know that's an echo. Let me see. Boom. I think I changed it.
To condemn white supremacists and militia groups, and to say that they need to stand down and not add to the violence in a number of these cities, as we saw in Kenosha and as we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
are you
I'm
prepared
willing
to
do
specifically
that,
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what are you saying?
I'm willing to do anything. I want to see peace.
Then do it, sir.
Say it. Do it. Say it. Do you want to call him? What do you want to call him? Give me a name. Give me a
white
name.
Supremacists and
who would
right
you like me to condemn?
White supremacists and right
Proud Boys, stand back and stand by. But I'll tell you what. Somebody's got to do something about Antifa and the left, because this is not a right-wing problem. This is a left-wing. This is a left-wing problem.
White supremacy.
All right. So and he called it exactly what it was. This is a left-wing problem. Now, he got into trouble. All right. He got into trouble for saying Proud Boys stand down and stand by. Okay. He could have packaged that better, in my opinion. But at the end of the day, he called out what the actual problem is, because the problem is not right-wing extremist groups, which brings us right to this story that it blows my mind that this is happening in the United States of America. This is more of a war zone. This is something you would see in Afghanistan. This is something you would see in a movie that has to do with a far country in the Middle East that's just known for terrorism. And yet we see this in our own country, Minneapolis, Minnesota. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing if you guys look at this story, because these people and I mean, I don't want to bag on the reporters because they're trying to bring the story to us, but they keep using the wrong words to describe these people. They keep saying, oh, these activists, these are not activists. These are domestic terrorists that have shut down Minneapolis, Minnesota, a small block of Minneapolis, Minnesota. They have terrorized the natives, and Donald Trump was warning you about it. Donald Trump was saying the problem is the left-wing extremist groups, and CNN, MSNBC, New York Times, all of these people, NBC, all of these mainstream media outlets said, nope, we're not going to listen to that. We're going to focus on the racism. And now Minneapolis is about to burn because there are domestic terrorists on its turf. And it's mind-blowing to me that we have this problem that Donald Trump called out, and a large portion of America did not heed the advice, did not want to hear it, did not wanted to argue with the man. No, it's not just the left, it's the right too. Yeah, both extremes are terrible. If you're a right-wing extremist, you are wrong. If you're a left-wing extremist, you are wrong, because at the end of the day, extremes cause more damage than good. So if you guys look at this story, God bless the reporter who tried to come into the CHOP zone, the autonomous zone in Minneapolis, Minnesota. If you guys didn't watch the story before, this same reporter tried getting into this autonomous zone in Minneapolis, and he walked right up to the barricade, and he was reporting from outside the barricade, and two individuals walk up to this reporter and say, you got to go. You're about to get into a lot of problems. This is not going to end well for you. And just like that, 2 minutes being present at the autonomous zone, and boom, domestic terrorists are coming, threatening him, telling him he has to leave. So this is a follow-up. I want to share this with you guys because this is a follow-up from News Nation of what is actually happening in the autonomous zone, where these people are saying they want to create a safe space for activism, but at the same time, they're doing exactly what Donald Trump pointed out a few months ago. They are being left-wing extremist groups that are terrorizing their community. Let's take a listen to this.
Activists in Minneapolis now control a barricaded area at the very corner where George Floyd died. It has, though, been the site of violence in recent weeks. Yesterday, prosecutors charged a man in connection with a shooting near what's now called George Floyd Square. And tonight we're giving you an exclusive look inside. News Nation's Brian Etten visited the autonomous zone to show what it's like there. Brian?
Rob, yeah, the area is totally controlled by activists. A community organizer saw our...
That's the part that blows my mind. Just call it what it is. These are not activists. These are domestic terrorists. They have shut down public property. They have shut down public business. They have shut down public churches in this area. People have died in this autonomous zone, shot, stabbed. People are threatened. People are scared. And these people are not even from Minneapolis, as we're going to see. And the reporters want to say these activists. No, it's similar to the CNN crap. Fiery, but mostly peaceful. What? I mean, I don't understand how the media can walk through this story and use the word activists as if activism includes barricading parts of a country and saying you're not allowed in here. I know this is a public funded facility, that these streets were paid for by your tax dollars, but you can't come in here because I said so. And if you come in here, we will kill you, beat you, take everything you have. What? Whispering Wind, hello, hello. I mean, it's mind-blowing to me, guys. And it's frustrating. It is frustrating to see. I mean, I'm at the point now, to be honest, quick aside. I see what's in the White House right now, Joe Biden. I honestly believe I could be president. I see Minneapolis City Council's decision. I know I could make better decisions than that. It's like, man, we think these people are high and mighty, or at least I used to think they were high and mighty. But then when you look at their decisions and you look at the way that they handle problems, it's like, man, these are regular people who have been given power. And when you think, like, most of these problems are common sense. This issue should be taken care of yesterday. The governor, the mayor should have brought troops to Minneapolis right away, which is why I loved Trump's rhetoric about let's get physical force in these areas to clean it out. Let's clean it out, because I'm not with all of this. Let's take over a city. But I hate that they're saying activists. These are not activists.
Our story last week when we were kept out, he was not happy to see it, and he offered to take us inside the autonomous zone. The blocks surrounding the George Floyd Memorial in Minneapolis are barricaded and guarded by activists. It's been called an autonomous zone, and we learned last week outsiders are not always welcome.
You're going to be in a bad situation here in a second.
Oh, I thought if we were on this side of the barricade.
You're going to be in a bad situation in a second.
What do you mean by
Because
bad
you've been called out
situation?
for what you are. You need to get out of here.
Please go.
We know what you are. You need to get in your car and go.
After the story aired, I got a Twitter message from community leader and former Ohio State basketball player PJ Hill. How you were kicked out of the square was not right, and we, the church community, will not stand for that. I personally will escort you in and show you around. Okay, we'll follow you in. Okay, thank you. We took PJ up on his offer and met him outside the barricades and followed him into the autonomous zone. There are tents, porta potties, and many of the businesses like this gas station are closed down. So who are the people?
So I know I was ripping on the reporter about, choosing activism, but he has some big, I mean, the man is courageous. He is walking into, and he knows this. So what I'm willing to bet is he used the word activism because he's supposed to. It's the most politically correct word to describe what's going on in Minneapolis. Oh, activists take and seize parts of Minneapolis. Okay, you know what? So I'll give him some grace for that, because this man is going behind enemy lines where he knows he's not supposed to be, because he wants to bring the story. So yes, I disagree with his choosing of words, but I think he's using it because he's supposed to. And just like I got canceled off of YouTube for posting a video about George Floyd, or I got my video got canceled. I'm sure he's in that same boat where if he misspeaks and he misrepresents the News Nation Now network, he's gone. So I give him some grace. But look at this. We have a gas station shut down. We have another business area over here shut down. We have a church that is not allowed to have people from the outside come in. It looks like residential neighborhoods. And what you're about to hear is that the natives, the people that live in Minneapolis, say, we don't even know who these people are. They're just coming into Minneapolis and setting up shop. And I have to bring it back to Donald Trump. What he told you, Minnesota. What did he tell you, Minnesota? What did he tell you, Minnesota? He told you left-wing extremist groups are the problem. Now, somebody jog my memory. Did Trump win Minnesota? I don't think he did. He might have. I don't think he did. I'm pretty sure he lost Minnesota. So if he lost Minnesota, could somebody figure that out for me, please? If he lost Minnesota, look what you're getting based off of your choices. You chose this. They chose this, guys. Oh my goodness.
People who have taken control of this area, you saw the experience.
Yeah. And it's a combination of people. A lot of these people are not even from the community. So that's why it's super confusing.
PJ grew up here, has led police reform protests, and goes to church within the autonomous zone.
Obviously, we know this trial is going to reopen a lot of wounds for people. And so how do we give people a safe space to be able to express themselves in a positive manner? That's why when the stuff happened with you, it made me very upset, because this is supposed to be sacred ground, not ground to push people out, but ground for all of us to come together and really move the ball forward for humanity and for our city.
Within the closed area, there's the George Floyd Memorial, where Floyd died, and murals representing what the community has gone through.
One thing I love about this community, we have a lot of artists. What's up, family?
You could tell they are walking on eggshells. He knows he shouldn't be there. He's a Minnesota. He is a resident in this city, and even he knows that they're both in hot water.
We have a lot of artists in this community.
Take your camera off. Maybe you take your cameras outside my square.
Listen to what this left-wing extremist said. Take this camera out of my square. As if he owns this. These are the people now that own this.
I'm not asking you what you're doing, sir. I'm asking you to take your camera outside the square. We don't want no footage of nothing over here right now.
No, we doing a story from the church.
I'm not asking you what you're doing. I'm not asking you what you're doing. I'm asking you to take your camera outside the square, please.
Why we need to take our cameras outside the square?
Because we're doing a memorial for my homeboy that just died.
Yeah, that's my cousin. I misplay. That's my cousin.
We don't want no cameras in here.
We just doing this tour and we going down to these businesses.
I'm asking you what you doing. I don't want the cameras.
We doing it for the church. Come on, we going right back over to the church. Yep. We want to get into no crazy stuff with y'all here. Yep. No, we come right.
So you guys get a feel for what is going on here. Minneapolis is taken over. Parts of Minneapolis is taken over. Gone. Like, people are dying there. People cannot operate their business. And yes, like Trump says, these are the thugs that cannot be part of a civilization, because what these people do is they try to take things over that are not theirs. They try to make rules that are not rules, and they try to enforce things that they believe via violence and threats. And that is what we have. And that is what Donald Trump tried to warn everybody of, because he saw it. He said, guys, we're over here talking about racism. We're talking about racism. That left-wing extremist group had a white person, had a black person. They don't care about racism. What they care about is overthrowing local governments. And that is what they are trying to do. These people are crazy. Yes. These people are crazy. They're absolutely insane. And I want to share with you what should have happened last week or the day after this. Even I don't understand how the mayors, if this happened in my city, I love Tampa, Florida. If this happened in my city, I would seriously consider leaving. Because how in the world do the city council members, the leadership of a city, allow domestic terrorists to post up on your streets, on my streets, the streets that I want to bring my kids down. I have to reroute because it's not safe. It's not safe anymore. So the FBI to monitor Minneapolis Autonomous Zone in George Floyd Square amid Derek Chauvin trial. Well, thanks for monitoring it, but I would like more of a presence. I would like, I don't understand why everybody, like, they're so tiptoeish. We're going to monitor this. These people have taken over a part of Minneapolis that they shouldn't even be in. People have died. People are going to die because of domestic terrorism. And what the FBI says is, we're going to monitor. Or I don't know if that's what they said, but that's what the article from Fox News is saying. FBI to monitor. I'm putting them on notice. Enough is enough, Minneapolis police chief says about dismantling autonomous zone. Putting them on notice. You should have done this yesterday, last week. As soon as it happened, you should have put them on notice. There's no excuse other than poor leadership and lack of standards. Because when you have a city running wild, somebody has to stand up and say, that's not going to happen. We're not going to let that go. And yet we're sitting here on March 19th, and it saddens me to see parts of Minneapolis being taken over as if we were living in Iraq. The FBI is now, so I'm going to read from this article, the FBI is now helping Minneapolis police monitor an intersection renamed George Floyd Square that has since devolved into an autonomous zone that brought record levels of violent crime and gun violence to the neighborhood since last May, as local residents and businesses pleaded for help. The intersection of East 38th Street and Chicago Avenue, where a bystander recorded the viral video that showed ex-Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin pressing his knee into on Floyd's neck on May 25th, 2020, was first converted into a memorial and renamed George Floyd Square after his death. But concrete barricades set up by the city last year to protect demonstrators from traffic now act as the barriers to an autonomous zone co-opted by armed individuals declaring law enforcement are unwelcomed as gang activity, drug dealing, and gun violence disrupt local businesses and operations. And this is just a picture. I mean, it's terrible that this is happening. That's the worst that I could say. Is it's just terrible. All right, Joe Biden 54% of Minnesota vote. Donald Trump 45. Yeah, that's debatable. I can't speak anymore on that. I don't know any more safe ground after my George Floyd live stream got taken down. I don't know what safe ground is anymore. Because I honestly thought that my live stream, yes, was an unpopular opinion, but I didn't think that it was worthy of getting taken down. So, yes, Joe Biden won Minnesota. All right, it is over. So let me know what you guys. Yes, I love that. Whispering Wind, send in the National Guard, see what happens. Bust them down. What are we doing? Why are we allowing this in the greatest country in the world? Why is Minneapolis allowing this for a day, for a week? Why? For a month? Why? For political correctness. That's why. Everybody wants to be so politically correct that we're starting to become people who are shying away from telling what it is. I mean, it's absolutely terrible. But enough of Minneapolis, Minnesota, because we could spend a lot longer talking about Minneapolis. Long story short, it has been converted into a war zone. It is being ran by left-wing extremist groups. Donald Trump warned them that the left-wing extremist groups are the problem. They voted for Joe Biden anyways, and now we have these left-wing militias holding down spots of Minneapolis, and the local leadership of Minneapolis, Minnesota is failing by not securing the safety of its citizens. So that is a great summary. That is a great summary of what the heck is happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Unfortunately, sad to see. I hate to see that. I don't like to see that, but man, it's just, there is a thing to say about leadership. And whether you like harsh words or not, at the end of the day, what I want to consider the most is, are you making the right decisions? I don't care if you're saying things a little too harsh. I don't care if you are, like, I think about, I'm a football guy, right? I love football. To me, the best college football coach is Nick Saban. And when I see him absolutely blow up on his players, it looks harsh as heck. It looks disrespectful. But at the end of the day, he is ripping them because he is trying to call them to a championship level, and he's not taking no nonsense. So if you're able to produce a championship product, but you do it in a loud, harsh way, but at the same time your loudness and harshness is truthful, even though your tone might hurt some people's feelings, uh, I'm all about I am all about getting the job done. So obviously that is not happening in Minneapolis. I want to look at this real quick. I want to look at this. So Rand Paul, the realist senator of them all, Rand Paul, he went in with Dr. Fauci. Mass face off. Rand Paul spars with Dr. Fauci at Senate hearing. So Rand Paul said Anthony Fauci should tell people who are vaccinated for COVID-19 that they no longer have to wear masks. So to me, that sounds like a legitimate claim. Like, hey, if you got vaccinated, you should no longer be expected to wear a mask. But as Dr. Fauci said, which we're going to take a few minutes to listen to in his rebuttal, he basically rejected that because he believes that we should be double masked up till 2022, or I don't know when. At the end of the day, the phrase is this: keep moving the goalpost. 15 days to slow the spread. And now we're sitting here over a year later. So reading from the New York Post, Senator Rand Paul picked a fight with Dr. Anthony Fauci on Thursday, accusing the infectious diseases expert and others who wear masks after being vaccinated against the coronavirus of doing so for theater, for show. During a Senate hearing, Paul, an eye doctor, questioned the recommendations from health specialists that people who have the vaccine should continue to wear coverings in public. You've been vaccinated and I love that part. And you parade around in 2 masks for show, Paul told Fauci. You can't get it again, and there's almost 0% chance you're going to get it. And you're telling people that that have had the vaccine, who have immunity, you're defying everything we know about immunity by telling people to wear masks who have been vaccinated, he continued to say. You want people to get rid of vaccine hesitancy? Tell people to quit wearing their masks after they get the vaccine. Now, just to insert where I am, I'm not getting the vaccine. I don't think I should get the vaccine. And I agree. Like, I'm completely, you know what? You choose what you want. If you want a vaccine, go ahead. If you don't want the vaccine, more power to you. I'm just choosing I'm going to forego the vaccine. But I liked actually seeing this article from 2 different perspectives, because I think seeing things from more than one perspective is a great thing. So I looked up this article on CNN, and I want to play a little bit of the live stream from CNN because obviously CNN is going to lean more towards what Fauci said than Rand Paul. But I want you guys to listen to this for yourself, because this was a very good debate. Yeah, and obviously, guys, all this mask stuff in Florida. In Florida, there is not a statewide mask mandate. So I have been getting into the habit of going into stores and shopping without a mask. The grocery stores that I frequent the most, because I have a relationship with the people, the cashiers, the baggers, and I have known them before COVID, and I understand how they feel about COVID. I throw on my mask, at my local grocery stores, but that's more of a, I'm trying to be courteous. But when I'm not at the grocery stores, when I'm at the gas station, I want to go in, buy a bag of chips. I'm not wearing a mask. I went to Home Depot the other day. I'm not wearing a mask. So it's just at this point, since Florida is not mandating a mask mandate and it's more of a local thing, I'm done with the mask because yes, he's very dishonest. He is very dishonest. I mean, this is the same man who downplayed mask, then played up mask, and now he says two mask and all of these things. And from what I understand, who cares if you have a mask on? If you touch your mask, as soon as you touch your mask, you take those pathogens that are on your hand and you place them on your mask, which is close to your mouth and your nose, which are portals of entry for pathogens. I mean, at this point, I mean, I agree with Rand Paul in the sense, one, if you've been vaccinated and they're still telling you to not live your life, why did you get vaccinated then? And then on the other hand, whether you're vaccinated or not, I just don't think it's time. Like it is March 19th, 2021, and we are still parading around here with masks on. What in the world is going on? And they want to talk about the variant and this and that. And I mean, okay, I get it. But at the end of the day, how much longer are you planning on telling me how to live my life? How much longer? How much longer, Fauci? How much longer, World Health Organization? How much longer, CDC? Think about this. This was so funny to me. This was so funny to me. The Super Bowl was in my hometown, all right, Tampa, Florida. And the CDC was saying something like, if you go to the Super Bowl, don't cheer. What? Don't cheer? I'm at the Super Bowl. No, that's what the CDC said. Don't cheer. At church, this was really a thing that my former church was stuck on, was if we go to church, we can't worship because we can't sing, because if we sing out, then we're going to spread pathogens. What? Well, that's what the CDC recommended. And we're going to listen to that? We're not going to praise God and sing because the government said so? Wow. Mind-blowing to me that these people are telling us how to live for over a year. And like I said, you want the vaccine? Go ahead. You don't want the vaccine? More power to you. I personally am not getting the vaccine. I'm not a doctor. All I'm sharing is where I'm at with this. So CNN, so we looked at New York Post. Let's see how CNN frames this. Dr. Anthony Fauci got into a contentious exchange with Senator Rand Paul Thursday over whether people should wear masks if they have recovered from COVID-19 or have been vaccinated against it. Paul, who says he has been infected with coronavirus and who pointedly refuses to wear a mask, attacked Fauci during a hearing of Senate Health, Education, Labor, and Pensions Committee. You're telling everybody to wear a mask, whether they've had an infection or a vaccine. Paul said to Fauci, who is the director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases. If people that have had the vaccine or have had the infection, if we're not spreading the infection, isn't it just theater? All right. So Fauci has noted before that people who are vaccinated may still breathe in the virus, have it living in their nose or throat without causing an infection, and breathe, cough, or sneeze infectious virus onto others. People can also become reinfected after they've recovered, though it's uncommon. The CDC says people who have been vaccinated should nonetheless still wear masks when they're around people who are not vaccinated. So what are you supposed to do? You go to a party, go to a gathering, you hold up a sign that says, "I've been vaccinated. How about you?" And then if everybody puts up their sign and says, "I've been vaccinated. How about you?" then we all could take off our masks. How are we supposed to do this? How are we supposed to do that? I don't understand. I don't understand how we're supposed to figure out how people are vaccinated or not. I don't walk around asking people, "Have you been vaccinated? Do you have your vaccine card? How about you? Oh, you don't? Okay, I'll wear my mask." I mean, it doesn't make sense to me. And at this point, honestly, at this point, I don't think it's supposed to make sense. I think that these people have gone so far with thinking and being absorbed in COVID-19 that they're just going to run with this. They're going to run with masks. They're going to run with vaccine. They're going to run with a new normal. They're going to run with, oh, we won't go back to status quo. Joe Biden literally, he literally said the other week, I forgot what it was, last week, this 4th of July, you will be able to have a barbecue at your home with the people that you love. Buddy, we've been doing that. All right. For those of you that didn't see my my video, my vlog about the Super Bowl parade here in Tampa, Florida, we were out there. Some people have masks, most people didn't. Everybody, I wasn't drinking, but everybody was drinking. Every other pot of people was smoking marijuana. Like it was a like a party. I mean, all the way down Riverwalk was just people having a great time. So Joe Biden gets up there and says, July 4th this year, you'll be able to, spend some time with your family and have a cookout. Buddy, we've been doing that in Florida. Please go somewhere with that. Please go somewhere with that. So the Great Skipman says, I had COVID back in October. The worst part was not being able to taste. Yeah, I mean, I've talked to people. I actually ran into a couple that just moved from Portland, Oregon to Tampa, Florida. And I was talking to them, about their encounter with the riots and everything like that down there. I mean, up there in Portland, which they said it was not good. We just didn't go down there. And then the couple, the guy, he told me that he got COVID-19, and he was like, man, it was terrible. I was sick. I was throwing up. I had aches, lasted for 8 to 10 days. And then I recovered and I moved on. So I'm not going to be absorbed in it. And I've never been absorbed in it. I mean, me and my wife, we were germaphobes for like 2 weeks, maybe when COVID popped off last March. We were sanitizing everything, doorknobs, car seats, everything. And then after a while, we were like, are we going to live this way? Like, for how long are we going to walk around here scared of a virus? Yeah. So it's honestly, guys, it's stupid to me that on one of the biggest stages, on one of the biggest stages of government, these people are talking about masks. That's what they're talking about. That's what they're having a discussion about. That's what they're debating. And yeah, I agree with Rand Paul, but at the end of the day, does anybody else see how much wasted time this hearing was? I mean, at the end of the day, one group of people is going to feel how they feel about a mask. The other group of people are not going to feel how the other side feels. So there's really no point of debating this anymore. It's really, you know what? Let each state determine how they're going to be run. Florida, we don't have a mask mandate. Texas, Mississippi is what it is. California, be masked up until 2050. See, more power to you. Well, we're just wasting time, guys. So, I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing to me. The last thing I wanted to show you guys, real quick, because I feel like inserting this because I wanted to do this in the beginning, but honestly, I forgot. So just a quick pivot. This is, to me, this is so funny in a bad way. I mean, it's bad. It's bad. I'll agree that I probably shouldn't be laughing at this, but I have to, because it touches my funny bone, because this is who they elected. This is who they elected. They elected Joe Biden to be the president of the United States. And he can't speak well anymore. He can't really think clearly anymore. And some people think that, conservatives are blowing this out of proportion. He can make it. I don't think he can make it. I actually think there's fewer people that think he's going to make it than people that believe he's going to make it. Ultimately, I think Kamala Harris is going to be president, and that is sad to say, but look at this. Whoops! 1, 2, 3. Oh no! Oh no! 1, 2, and then 2 knees. Bomb. That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. How do you fall 3? Yep. It's our president. That is our president. Salute, sir. God bless you. Wow. That's crazy. That is funny. The last thing I wanted to share with you guys, because yesterday or the other day when I did the George Floyd live stream, I talked about propaganda, right? And there's propaganda all around us. But some pieces of propaganda are just, all propaganda is lies, but tell me what you guys think about this one. Because this, to me, is how is this allowed? Like, how is this person allowed to be a contributing member at the New York Times? Whiteness is a pandemic. Sit with that for a minute. All right. Sit with that for a minute. Now, I am sure the freakishly large amount of people watching me right now are white, I think. If you're not white, let me know. Whiteness is a pandemic. What in the world are we talking about? This is hard to read. I read it. It's hard to read. Yep, Whispering Wind, and that is a great thing, because being white is like, God made white, God made black, God made brown. But what these people are doing is they're trying to use whiteness, which basically is this. Let me see if I could describe whiteness. All right, whiteness is an idea from critical race theorists, from social justice warriors. And what they believe is that race is a social construct, because there is only one real race, which is the human race. But because us humans love to categorize things, we can't just say, oh, we're all humans. No, we all naturally divide ourselves up into little categories. And that has been happening for millennia. So race is a social construct. And what happened in America was, what the leftists claim is that white people, white supremacy was the preferred race, and all of the systems that were created back from 1776, moving all the way up through 1865 with the abolition of slavery, going all the way up to 1964 with the Civil Rights Act, everything in between was a society that was based on whiteness. Okay, So, with that said, they are saying that whiteness is a pandemic, that being white is a reason for worry. It's a reason for discomfort. It's a reason to look at the world and say, I'm part of the problem because whiteness is a pandemic. Listen to this guy. I don't have much to add here today that hasn't already been said. Whiteness is a public health crisis. It shortens life expectancies, it pollutes air, it constricts equilibrium. It devastates forests. It melts ice caps. It sparks and funds wars. It flattens dialects. It infests consciousnesses and it kills people, white people and people who are not white, my mom included. There will be people who die in 2050 because of white supremacy induced decisions from 1850. Now, if there was ever an article that leveraged the victim mentality, the critical race theorist narrative, it is this one right here, because all they're trying to do is push racial propaganda. That's all it is. None of this is verified. Like, none of this is actually real. Whiteness, you can't, it's insane is what it is. Whiteness devastates forests. What? Because a white person owns a company that wants to take down parts of a forest in California to build a freaking apartment complex. Oh, they've devastated a forest, and because it was a white person who made that decision, whiteness devastates a forest. Whiteness melts ice caps. What are you talking about? It constricts equilibrium. What does that mean? It flattens dialects. Okay. All right. It infests consciousnesses. It kills people. I mean, it's this article is the epitome of insanity. A line can and should be drawn from the actions of the white supremacists who walked into 3 Atlanta area massage parlors yesterday and allegedly killed 8 people, 6 of whom were Asian descent, to the relentless anti-Asian rhetoric pollinating national discourse over the past year. The former president and the party of the former president can and should be blamed for this and the sudden increase of racist violence against Asian Americans. How is this verifiable at all? How is this? How can you say such a claim? This is similar to me as impeachment. They run around and they say a whole bunch of claims against the president, now former president, and it doesn't have to make sense. There doesn't have to be evidence. They don't have to. They don't have to make a legitimate cause, because all they have to do is make claims, and they'll think about justifying their claim 2 months from now. Oh, this is the same thing as the impeachment. A whole bunch of erroneous claims. Donald Trump did not incite what happened on January 6th. Donald Trump is not responsible for what happened in Atlanta. All right. The line doesn't stop there. It extends back 400 years and has tentacles clawing everywhere. White supremacy exists here in America, which is everywhere. Oh my goodness. This is the victim mentality. There's a line connecting this act of terror to 11 people killed at the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018. Okay, how do you connect this? How in the world do you jump from what happened in March of 2021 in Atlanta to what happened in the Life Synagogue in 2018? And the 9 people killed in the Emmanuel African Methodist Episcopal Church in 2015, of course, but also to gentrification, to redlining, to racial profiling, to gerrymandering, to voter oppression, to mass incarceration, to the war on drugs, to the subprime mortgage crisis, and on and on and on and on. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. I'm a victim. And I am a victim of whiteness. I mean, this is the racial propaganda that is out there. They're pushing all of us to hate one another based on nothing more than skin color. That is true. That is what they want. They want us. They literally want us, Whispering Wind, they want somebody like me to look at somebody like you and say she's a privileged white girl. She got whatever prosperity that she has, it's because of the color of her skin first and foremost. That's what they want us to think. And then they want us to think that if there's any lack in my life, it's because of the racist system. Whiteness is a pandemic. And when I was a little brown boy, and now I'm a brown man, now I am a victim of the social construct of race. I mean, it's mind blowing to me. And we can't be quiet about this. We have to continue to speak out because this type of stuff is dangerous. What they are literally doing is they are creating hate. They are teaching this to kindergarten kids. I've covered this on this channel. They are teaching this to kindergarten kids that white is bad, white is inherently racist. And then they're teaching that the other side can't be. I mean, imagine if that article was framed the opposite. Blackness is a pandemic. Does whiteness have anything to do with the gun violence in Chicago, Baltimore, and all these other cities that are running rampant? There is crime in Tampa, Florida, in some neighborhoods. Is whiteness the reason for a black person or a Hispanic person pulling the trigger and killing another black or Hispanic person? Is there? Or are these little pandemics just a reflection of what that community is apart from race? That is just what they have chosen. And yes, it is sad. It is sad that they would use stories like this. Whiteness is a pandemic. Whiteness is a pandemic. And they would leverage this to make people continue to believe that race is really that important. Futility is looking for reason in the thoughts of the unreasoning idiot. Yes. Yeah, I would agree. And I would also insert, because it's easy, and we all do this. So in a moment of soberness, they're not all idiots. I was really good friends with a group of people that thought like this. They would look at this article, whiteness is a pandemic, and they would say, oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. No, yeah, whiteness should be deconstructed. Like I have friends that thought like this. Literally, we would go back and forth in conversation and text message about whiteness, the idea of whiteness, and they all concluded that whiteness should be dismantled. And these are people in the church. And these are not dumb people. They are smart as heck. Google Mark Lamont Hill. Mark Lamont Hill is a brilliant young black professor. Brilliant. Yeah. I love that right there. Wokeness is a pandemic. Yes, I call it wokeology. These people are smart. And some of them actually believe this. They actually believe the critical race propaganda so much that they internalize it, and it's their reality. So they're working from a place of, they believe they have good intentions. They believe they have right doctrine. They believe that they have good practices, and they believe that what they're going to implement is going to get the results that they're looking for, which at the end of the day is equality. And they say they don't want equal outcome, but at the end of the day, they want equal outcome, or they want very close outcome. So, it's a shame that this narrative has perverted the minds of good people too. But at the end of the day, it's like we have to call it out for what it is. And these things are terrible. So Whispering Wind says, I wonder then why most of the black women in authority are married to white men. It's a good question. That's a good question. I would love to ask one. I know I'm really good friends with two black females, and they're married to black men. So I can't get any real insight. But yeah, think about Candace Owens. I'm pretty sure Candace Owens is married to a white man. Kamala Harris married to a white man. I mean, honestly, it doesn't matter to me. Like, hey, marry whoever you want. But that's a good question. I think if I was to ever run into a black person and a black female and became friends with her and her husband, I would be curious to ask why. So, what was it about getting married to a white person? And honestly, I don't even think that's even worth asking. Honestly, now when I say it out loud, it doesn't even seem worth asking, because it's like I'm doing what I don't want to do, which is bring race like to the forefront. Like, hey, I see that you're black and he's white. Why? Like, as if we're walking around here in the 1960s. Like, we're in 2021. Honestly, I think the reason is this. She liked him. He was attractive. He liked her. She was attractive. They had great chemistry, and therefore they checked all the boxes for each other and they fell in love. At the end of the day, if you could vibe with somebody, if you can really speak to somebody else's needs and wants and give them the affection that they're looking for, it doesn't matter what color you are going to find love. I just wonder why they preach the white is bad, but sleep with the enemy. I think it's all a narrative. Yes, it is a narrative. It's called critical race theory. It is called critical race theory. What has been injected into society is critical race theory. These people, critical race theorists, have created a whole line of scholarship. And it started in the 1960s, early 70s. And what they wanted to do, they were frustrated. They were frustrated that the Civil Rights Act wasn't giving them the results that they wanted. So they started their own scholarship, and they started their own critical theory to try to explain why the Civil Rights Act is not enough. Therefore, we get words like whiteness, we get words like white privilege, we get words we get words like equity. We don't care about equality anymore. We shouldn't all be being treated the same under the law. We should be equal. Brandon Wilson, what's up, my man? See my point. Whispering Wind says, see my point. There's more to this, I think, than we know. Oh yes, there is so much to these stories that there's no way we can know 100%. But what I'm aiming for is to know enough to make a conclusion. If I can know 80, 85, 90%, if I can have a good grasp on what the content is or what the narrative is, and be able to think through the pros and cons, think about the evidence, scrutinize the evidence, see what falls through, see what doesn't. You know what? At the end of the day, I don't care that I don't know everything. I don't want to know everything. This brain here can't know everything, which is why I have to discern, because I have intellectual limits. When I said Google Mark Lamont Hill, he is a brilliant man, brilliant academic elite, and he literally sat there on the Candace Owens show, and he said men can have babies. So you know what that told me in that moment? Intellect doesn't really matter anymore. It doesn't matter if you're smart or dumb. What matters is, can you reason about what's happening? Do you have a moral compass that says right, wrong, left, right? Or does yours completely flip? And now you don't know where's east, where's west, where's north, where's south. The intellect, to me, when I listen to Mark Lamont Hill say men can have babies, and I listened to a lot of his other arguments for systemic racism, and they made sense. It wasn't like, oh, these don't make sense. No, these people are brilliant. But to what Whispering Wind is saying, there's more to this, I think, than we know. Facts, Whispering Wind. Yes. And that is okay, because at the end of the day, all I care about is knowing enough to make a conclusion, knowing enough to know which direction to put my kids on. All right. So some people that just got in here, leftists hate this, Democrats hate this. All right. That is my son in the womb. And how do I know it's a boy? Because of that little piece of genitalia right there. Yes. Take a look at that. But academia elites would tell me that no, that doesn't mean that's a boy. That, for all you know, that could be a girl. For all you know, that could be neither. Could be non-binary. For all I know, I'm not even sure if that's a baby in there. I mean, according to the extreme, LGBTQ plus and whatever it's called, that could be a squirrel, for all we know. That could be a squirrel. So they don't believe their lies. They want us to. Yes, Christy M. But I want you guys to understand this though. I've had deep conversations with what we would call, at least when it comes to race, leftists. They are way over here. All right, they are way on the left side when it comes to their view on race, and they do believe it. It's not that they don't believe their lies. They want us to. Some people actually believe this. Like, this is true. Police brutality is true to them. Systemic racism is true to them. Doesn't make it true in fact. As I've said on this channel before, systemic racism is a conspiracy theory. And I'll say that again. Systemic racism is a conspiracy theory, as talked about by Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party. When they talk about systemic racism and whiteness, they are spewing conspiracy theory, because think about everything you would have to believe to affirm all of that. You are literally saying the United States of America, the USA, the best country in the world, has built a society that conspires against you, Black and brown person. The reason why you have less is because the system is conspiring against you, doesn't want you to succeed. It is a conspiracy theory, but to some people, they believe it's so true that they see truth in it. They use small little incidences of racism and they say, boom, look at that. I experienced a little bit of racism. And sometimes they say racism, but it's not racism. And they just, they blow it up. They absolutely blow it up. Trey Milton, how'd he do? What's going on, Trey? What's up in the communist regime of Supreme Leader Biden? You just got here. So for the sake of, some laughs, I already showed this, but this is what's happening in the communist in the communist regime of Joe Biden. The 46th president of the United States cannot even get up some stairs, and it is a shame. And he hits 1, 2, 3, 1 fall, 2 falls, 3 falls, scrapes his knee, looks at his knee. He's probably walking up there saying, God, I can't get this right. Why did I get elected? Why did I run again? Salute to all you guys. Let me get my old behind in this and sit down. I need a nap. I need a nap. That is good. Whispering Wind, God bless you. Have a great night. Christy M, I was referring to the big they, not their. Oh yeah. Yeah, okay. That's fair. That's fair. I don't see how you could be a politician, like a high-ranking politician, and actually believe all this. Like, you have access to all the data. You live in America. And a lot of these Democratic politicians that are in power are black or brown. Like, think about the city council of Baltimore. All right, these people are black and brown. They are in power. How do you continue to think about systemic racism over and over and over when you're in power? You are the system now, right? It doesn't make sense. I see it's going trippingly. Yep, definitely was. He was rushing for some reason. Yeah, he was rushing to go take a nap. That's what he was doing. So, Me Too Live 420, Marxism makes it hard for them to not to categorize people. Yeah, and that's the name of the game. Marxism is similar to what social justice is today in respect of in respect of dividing up people into people groups. At the end of the day, it's like, well, since you're white and I'm not, we're in different groups. Since I'm male and you're female, we're in different groups. Since you're old and I'm young, we're in different groups. And there is some truth to that. But what they want to say and claim is that all the disparities that we see today are because of those group differences, and because the people who have been in the most power in America since 1776, or if you want to believe the garbage report by Nicole Hannah-Jones, the 1619 Project. All right. From back then all the way till now, the people who have been in control are white people. Therefore, all of these systems are benefiting them. That's what they believe. That is what they believe. And it's we're at a point now where we have to continue to know. All right, we have to understand we're not going to know all the answers. This is no longer strictly like an intellectual thing. This is, you have to discern what's right and wrong, and you have to decide, how are you going to move your family forward? How are you going to maneuver around all this crap? Because this crap is not going anywhere. All of these liberal spaces are going to continue to shout racism at the top of their lung. So Trey Milton says, it is terrible that the younger generation, mine sadly, has lost its power of critical thinking. I'm pretty sure that the people who founded this country are rolling over with laughter. Yeah, I mean, there's really a thing about critical thinking, is that we believe that we've critically thought when we come to the conclusion that we were looking for. To us, that's critical thinking, aka confirmation bias. But there's also something else to add to that, is when I really deep dived into all this, I started reading Thomas Sowell. And when I read Thomas Sowell's book, Economic Facts and Fallacies, and then I read his book, Disparities and Discrimination, I quickly realized that his arguments have been around for decades, and his arguments have been rebutted by leftists and Democrats for decades. And his evidence is so profound that it's obvious to me that they're just not looking for that answer. They don't want that answer. They want to point to disparity, disparity, disparity. And when they look at a counter argument, they're unable to critically think, because what they're really looking for is confirmation. That's what they're really looking for. They're looking for confirmation. So Christianity and Judaism is under a lot of fire. That's because if you think about, so I am a Christian, and the reason why Christianity is under fire is because Christianity has all the elements that leftists hate: patriarchy, hierarchy, government or power, or God being the ultimate authority, God being the arbiter of morals, and not the government. They hate that because God has the ability to define morality. But what the leftists want is they want the ability to define morals. They want to be able to say what's right and wrong. They want to be able to say that the boy in my wife's womb is not really a boy. They want to say that for millennia past, we have known male, female. So Christianity is under attack because it has so many things that leftists and Democrats hate, which is Christianity ultimately puts a limit on what you can do and not do from a moral perspective. So Trey says, interesting. I would call that critical thinking. I guess what I meant is that logic thinking and taking things with a grain of salt. Yeah, I mean, I would agree that so what I was really saying was it's more of confirmation bias. They're looking for an answer predetermined. So when you're looking for an answer, you're walking into it with a bias. So that kind of cuts critical thinking because confirmation bias is a real thing. I mean, think about search engines. You have a thought in your head, you think something a certain something about a topic, and then you go on Google, and then boom, you look for all of the info that supports your conclusion. Therefore, you're practicing confirmation bias. Chrissy M, peace, joy, love one another. They hate those too. Yes. No, there can't be any peace. For all my people that that weren't here earlier. All right. Let's because I was planning on going till around 9:50. So feel free to stay. But I mean, I wrapped up my original points. But for all my people that may have missed, like Christy M said, peace, joy, love one another. This story right here is just it just shows that they don't care about peace. They do not care about it. They don't care about peace. All right. News Nation goes inside Minneapolis autonomous zone. Before I show you this, actually, I think this because, man, I when I made this point earlier, I really want people to know that Donald Trump was speaking the truth. He was speaking the truth when Chris Wallace gave him the garbage question about denouncing white supremacists, and he brought it to what it really is, and he said the real problem is the people on the left. Now I'll skip Chris Wallace's question because it's a terrible question, but Donald Trump told us what it was. And like Christy M said, they hate peace. And Donald Trump actually wanted peace. And he expressed that through public policy. And ultimately, he was trying to promote peace by pointing out the real problem, which is left-wing extremist groups.
As we've seen in Portland.
Sure,
Are you
I'm willing
prepared
to
to
do that,
specifically
but
do it? Well, go ahead, sir.
I would say almost everything I see is from the left wing, not from the right wing.
So what do you?
Everything I see is from the left wing, not the right wing. And that was true back then, and it's true now. It was true back then, it's true now, because what we covered earlier, was this crap that is absolutely insane happening in Minneapolis, Minnesota, where these left-wing extremist groups are going into Minneapolis and taking over. All right, we watched till 3:12. I'll hit play so we can watch a little bit more, and we can have a little bit of dialogue about this ongoing domestic terrorist threat in Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Right to the church, it doesn't matter what they want to do. See, this kind of stuff we're dealing with.
Outside Worldwide Outreach for Christ Church, we met PJ's uncle, Pastor Curtis Farrar.
I don't know why they're here. I don't know why people are coming from the suburbs to man those gates and so can be so mean to other people.
Are they armed?
Some, couple I've seen that I met were armed. You know, I don't know what the intentions are.
Pastor Farrar's church.
I don't know what their intentions are. Their intentions are to take over Minneapolis and create a war zone, because these are the left-wing extremist groups that Donald Trump was warning people about, like I was saying earlier, and he was warning them, and he was saying the reality of the state of America, which is left-wing extremist groups are the most dangerous thing right now. They are the most dangerous thing right now. It is not a coincidence that there isn't some right-wing extremist group shutting down parts of a city right now. Trump was a breath of fresh air. He was honest, straightforward, and wanted the best for the people he was in charge of. And that is the truth. I believe that, which is why I voted for the man. Was he politically incorrect at times? Yes. Was he too harsh at times? Yes. Could he have chosen better words sometimes? Yes. Was he a polished politician? No. But he was a breath of fresh air. And the way he led people, it was like, okay, he is trying to make change. He is trying to keep the cities and the streets of America safe. Because I guarantee you, if Donald Trump was in office, he would be having so much rhetoric sent to Minneapolis, Minnesota, saying, hey, we need to shut this down. Governor, I forget the governor's name from Minnesota. We need to send troops in. We need to shut this down. This cannot be happening. What has Joe Biden and Kamala Harris said about this? To my recollection in this moment, nothing. What have they said about the Minneapolis Autonomous Zone? Nothing. Because they don't want peace. And the natives that are living there, the black man that was just talking was a pastor of a church on that block, and they're having troubles operating.
Church has been on this block for 38 years. Despite that, another person approached and told us we had to leave, even though we were in the church parking lot.
Yeah, no, so people are just wondering if you could not record me as well, if you could turn the camera the other way or something.
I think that everyone is trying to have power in the area. Like, for instance, this young lady that talked to my nephew, you know, we don't really know who she's representing, what she's really talking about. So you got a lot of different facets.
The pastor and some area business owners are concerned because they say emergency services are not able to get into the autonomous zone. Last Saturday, a 30-year-old man was shot and killed in the square, and his family says the ambulance was not allowed in.
At this point, they don't come here. And that's the one thing that bothers me a great deal.
We asked one of the people manning the gates about that, and the person said they have their own medics.
I hear that concern, but it's just wholly untrue. There was a medic on scene immediately within minutes. And, you know, in that position.
Was that a medic, like a city medic, or was that one of...
She's an EMT trained. But yeah, it is one of our medics.
This active...
One of our medics. Listen to this, guys. Listen. And, you know, I admire the reporter's courage to go into this, but he keeps using this word, the activist, the activist.
Trained. But yeah, it is one of our medics.
This activist named Maddie, who did not want her last name used.
These are not activists. These are domestic terrorism. They're domestic terrorists. All right. They are domestic terrorists. If you're not allowing if you are not allowing an ambulance to come into the area to provide life-saving services to a person, you are a terrorist. If you shoot people and kill people in the names of some autonomous zone, you're a terrorist. I mean, it's absolutely mind-blowing to me that these are the people that are running these cities, which is why most of us here would agree Trump was a breath of fresh air, because what we knew was going to happen, the normal air, is these things, they really think about Obama's years when Obama was in office and there was rioting and looting and the same things that we saw. Um, it was kind of just status quo. Yeah, we understand their frustration. So now that Joe Biden is in office, we knew this was going to happen. Cities burned down, and he's just, you know, the cities burned down, and people are getting killed, and is what it is. A medic with no equipment or staff is a spectator. These are spectating domestic terrorists. That is what they are. That is what they're going to be. And that is what I am going to classify them as. Because when I see mainstream violence like this on American soil, there's no other word to use other than domestic terrorist groups, which is why one of the points I wanted to make tonight, not only talk about, a little bit of my frustration about my George Floyd live stream getting taken down, or the autonomous zone that we revisited, the Rand Paul and Fauci debate. One of the main points I wanted to really drive was Donald Trump yet again was right, and we are seeing the fruits of the systemic racism conspiracy theory played out in Minneapolis, because these people believe a conspiracy theory. Therefore, they're willing to shut down and shoot because they have been tricked. They have been fooled. They have been brainwashed to think a certain thing. The media wanted to talk about the DC riots conspiracy, that, QAnon and this and that. Yet they are the same outlets that push police brutality and systemic racism that led to this. That led to this. And it's mind-blowing to me that more people aren't saying what the systemic racism narrative actually is. The systemic racism narrative, as talked about by Black Lives Matter and the Democratic Party, when those people speak upon systemic racism, it is conspiracy theory. It is propaganda, and it should be avoided, and it should be listened to with such a level of discernment that you're as soon as you hear the rhetoric, okay, this is rooted in lies. This is rooted in lies. So I hope I accomplished that. If you guys got any questions before I jump off, any questions, anything you guys want to kick around for 5 minutes? If not, I think it's safe to say we've had a successful live stream. I hope I don't wake up tomorrow with strike one, because that would be that honestly, I would be like, you know what, maybe YouTube is just not for me, because I'm just talking. Like, I'm not here trying to incite violence. I'm not here harassing or cyberbullying. But you know what, it is what it is. I'm not the one in charge. I got to follow the rules and stay in my lane, because these people will kick me off here in a heartbeat, and they will smile about it. So thank you guys so much for watching. People need to stop taking the bait. Discernment, yes. Chrissy M, echo that. Share that in your personal life. Talk to everybody you can about discernment. Make people question about what they believe. Stay safe, man. Nice watching. Thank you. Me too. Me X2K Live 420. I hope I said that the way it's supposed. Mex 2K Life 420. Rablita, Rumble, BitChute, Gab, don't disappear. There are other outlets. You know what? I'm gonna start uploading on those outlets as well. So thank you. I'm gonna look into Rumble, BitChute. I've never heard of Gab, so I definitely need to think about that. It's been a slice. All right, what state are you in? All right, so question. I like so for if there's anybody jumping on late, I'm wrapping this up. I'm pretty much done with my presentation or my video. So I'm just gonna stay on for a couple of minutes just to have some last minute questions if there are any. If not, you know what? I will see you guys soon. So what state are you in? Trey, I am in Florida. I am a Florida boy. Have been raised in Florida my whole life. Or most of my life. We moved here when I was 2, so I've only known Florida. What state are you from? My man Trey probably didn't hear me, but anyways, guys, you guys have a great night. I'm gonna go ahead and log off. I will see you good people in the next one. Make sure you guys like this video, share this video. Tennessee boy, yes, I love Tennessee. I've met 3 people in college from Tennessee. One dude was from Memphis, and then 2 other people were from this was probably one of the most country dudes I ever met. He lived right around the Cumberlands. I'm pretty sure that's a school in Tennessee, but I think it's a Division II school in Tennessee. He lived next to the Cumberlands, but like the most hospitable people in the world, the most kind people. All they care about is having a good time, taking care of the people around them, and just keeping the peace. I really enjoy that about people from Tennessee. But yeah, Tennessee rocks. If you guys could do me a favor, the people that are still watching, go ahead and look at some of my previous content, and make sure you guys are just sharing the videos. That's the only way that the channel is going to be able to grow, is you guys use your platforms to promote the content that you believe in. So if I am that person, thank you so much. Make sure you go back, look at some of my old videos, find one that's worthy of sharing, that's still relevant today. And I really thank you guys for it. But make sure you guys have a great night. I will see you good people on the next one. Stay safe, stay blessed, and peace.